It says so right there on the piece of paper. It says so. I'm not crazy. Cindy, so does it take? That's literally the words. Hello, I am Miriam, co-founder and COO of Keto Chow, and this is my lovely assistant, Chris.
I hold up the heavy cream. Yeah, and we are going to be talking today about how to make Keto Chow, how to prepare it, all the stuff about
All the things.
all the things. So let's get into it.
We have customer questions we want to go ahead and go over. Cindy wants to know, does it take a whole pack for a shake?
Keto Chow comes in two different sizes. Now, this is an individual, so this is one serving.
Yeah, so
We
that
also
would be
have
the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
We also have a big bag that has scoops in it. Each serving is an entire packet. Normally, when you're mixing up an entire blender bottle, it's going to use one packet per serving or one scoop out of the big bag, which each scoop is different based on the flavor,
Right.
but you'd be using one for each serving.
Okay, so a scoop equals a packet.
Yep.
So yes, one packet per shake.
Yep.
Ding, ding, ding. Got it.
We have a couple of questions from people about what you mix it with. So some people, Beth wanted to say, what do you mix these with? Rhonda said, can you mix it with milk or does it have to be water? And Jupiter wanted to know, has anyone made Keto Chow using MCT oil as
Okay.
the fat? So let's talk about what you mix it with.
Okay, well, let's start with the basics. Like to make a basic keto chow, why don't we just show them real quick?
Okay. I've got Happy Blender bottle. Now I'm going to do a trick. This is to make things a lot easier.
This is a lazy bear trick.
I've got a Sharpie here, and on the side of the bottle, there are little lines, but they're really hard to read. So I'm going to make a mark on the 4-ounce line, which is a half cup. Okay? Done with that?
Just put that anywhere.
We need to put in the fat. So we've got heavy cream here, which is...
It's so cute. I mean, look how cute that
if
is.
you're going to start, heavy cream is easiest, and just start with a half cup, 4 ounces. So as the blender bottle goes around, I'm just going to fill this up to the 4-ounce line because I can see it because I wrote on it with a marker. Okay? Now that I've got the fat in there and it's partially covering the blender ball, I'm going to stick in the packet of Keto Chow. So a whole packet. I managed to not spill it all over the
Yeah,
place,
you
which
could
is good.
set it on this perfectly good table right
I
here.
don't know if the camera will get it if I do that.
okay.
So put that anywhere.
Also, throw that anywhere.
And now,
I got you.
Lovely assistant. I thought I was the lovely
Well,
assistant.
you just start doing it, so you know.
Okay, so we're going to put in water. Up,
Oh,
up,
look how
up,
pink
up,
that is.
Up.
I love it so much.
Okay, we're bringing it up to about the bottom of the threads.
You can do it with less. Like a lot of times we do it with 20 ounces, but we found that I like the deliciousness longer, so I just fill it up to the threads.
If I shake this up now, it will be a sad day. There we go.
Oh, you mean you need to close the lid?
Yes.
Okay.
Now you just shake it up. Okay, that was it. That was mixing up a Keto Chow. If we hadn't been doing the play-by-play, the narration, that would have been 30 seconds.
Right.
That's a complete meal. Mixed up that way, it's around 530 calories because we were using about a half cup of heavy cream. You can use less heavy cream.
Right.
You could use other fat sources, but to start off, best way, easiest way, just try it with heavy cream. It mixes up real easy, real simple.
Yeah.
And that's one of the whole thing with Keto Chow is to make things easy.
Yeah, and it's a great way to start, especially if you're just starting keto chow. You don't know if you like it. You want to just make sure you get enough fat. Just do that a couple of times, see if you like it. Then you can kind of experiment with other things.
And you could use more or less fat. We have a calculator on our website that will show you how much to use for your particular goals.
Right.
But this is a good starting point. Again, easy, just simple.
Easy.
Half cup, 4 ounces of heavy cream, shake it up. Now, you could drink this right away.
Can I drink it right now? But it's pink.
Here's the thing.
But I love it.
It's going to taste better if you let it sit in the fridge for at least 30 minutes. Overnight is better. It's not going to change any of the nutrition.
You can totally drink it right now.
You totally could. And if you are on the run, if you're driving, if you're late for a meeting, if you are in school or whatever,
Make it, drink it.
drink it. Maybe throw some ice in there to cool it down, but you totally could. It will taste better if you let it sit. Again, It's just taste.
All the nutrients and everything is still in there. It doesn't have anything to do with the nutrition to let it wait.
Yeah.
It's just for taste.
The reason why it's going to taste better is that will give it time for all of the crystals from the electrolytes to fully dissolve, for the protein to fully incorporate. The flavors are going to mellow together, and it's actually after about 2 or 3 days, it gets tasting really good.
Isn't that crazy?
Now, in this instance, we were mixing up the keto chow with water and with heavy cream. Super simple.
Right.
Instead of water, you could use unsweetened almond milk.
Unsweetened coconut milk, unsweetened
Yeah,
cashew
you
milk.
You need some sort of a
those
liquid,
things.
or else it's not going to work very well. Now, in this case, we mix it up with heavy cream. That's the super simple way to go. There are other fat sources that you can use. In fact, you can even mix it up with no fat source. But we do recommend, at a minimum, 10 grams of fat to be able to unlock the fat-soluble vitamins, vitamin D, vitamin K, vitamin A, things like that. There are some instances where people are limiting their calories, and they want to do that. I do want to express a bit of caution that make sure you know what you're doing. That's why we typically don't recommend that people mix it up that way. Yeah. It also just tastes amazing when you mix it up with heavy cream. As far as other fat sources go, you can use butter, you can use coconut oil, you can use ghee, you can use egg yolks. There's a lot of different fat sources out there. But if you're unsure, if you're asking the question, what can I mix it up with? Generally speaking, the answer is going to be try heavy cream first, and then research from there. So that's what we'd recommend. Now, as far as mixing it up with milk,
You can mix it up with milk if you're not keto, or if you just don't need to be as low carb as some people.
there's a considerable amount of sugar in milk. If you are just trying to get good nutrition into somebody who isn't doing a low carbohydrate diet, that may be suitable. We typically don't recommend that people use milk, though, because of the sugar.
Right.
We also typically don't recommend people use half and half, which is also higher in sugar. A lot of times people will say, well, if I use half and half, I don't get as many calories as using heavy cream. Guess what? You can just use less heavy cream to get the same amount of calories, and then you're just using less heavy cream.
Right.
You can hit the exact same calorie amount using heavy cream as you can with milk
Yeah.
or with half and half. You just don't use very much of it.
Yeah,
It's
so that's
really that simple.
That's a tip.
Yeah.
Another option, which is our favorite, and it does take a little bit more work, but we really
And
like
equipment.
it. Yeah, also equipment. We like to mix it with butter. And that's a little tricky because you need to melt your butter. So you melt your butter however much you decided you need. And then you also want to have warm water.
Yep.
Not scalding hot water, not bath water.
Around 102 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, so pretty good warm water so that when you mix the butter and the keto chow and the water is not cold enough to make the butter hard.
Now, I personally do not recommend using a blender bottle to mix it with anything except for just heavy cream.
Right.
If you're trying to do butter, if you're trying to do coconut oil or any of the other fancier stuff, use a blender.
Yeah, or
It's
an
just-
immersion blender.
Or an immersion blender. It's just so much easier. It's not worth the hassle because what's typically going to happen is if you don't mix it up right, you're going to end up with little globules of butter that solidify. If that happens, easy fix.
Butter snack.
Well, either you enjoy the butter snack or you just pour it into a mug and heat it up.
Oh, like this mug right here?
And then you've got hot chocolate.
That was so good.
And it'll melt the butter. It's fine. But I actually have never successfully mixed keto chow with butter using a shaker bottle. Not once.
I have, but I'm just...
You're just that cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, one other thing to consider when you're talking about mixing up keto chow in a blender is if you're using heavy cream. If you mix it too long, you'll actually whip the heavy cream into butter.
Oh, so with a blender. Don't mix it forever.
Yeah, or people will use like a Ninja Bullet or something like that, or I might have just mixed those up. Anyway, NutriBullet, there you go. And it will just stir it really hard, really fast, and that will make little chunks of butter.
Okay, good to know.
If that happens again, just microwave it,
Right.
heat it up, enjoy it hot. We've got a question from one of our customers. How long can I leave a prepared keto chow shake in the fridge?
That's a great question. You would think that it wouldn't be that long, but you can actually leave them in the fridge for up to 6 days. So what I really like to do is say so. What I really like to do is on Sunday night, just make a bunch of keto chows, put them in the fridge, and then make sure I eat them by Saturday. Drink them, eat them, whatever.
Which is really nice because you can prepare a whole bunch of them. Then they're sitting in the fridge, and like I did that this morning. I was on my way out the door, grabbed 2 keto chows, one for breakfast, one for lunch to eat at work. And it took me 15 seconds.
Long enough to open and close the fridge.
It was amazing.
Yay!
And then I was in a meeting and was able to have my meal. It was so good. Okay, so keto chows will last up to 6 days in the fridge once they're prepared. But do you have to stick them in the fridge? Like, can you drink them right away, or do they even need to be refrigerated?
That's a great question, too. So you can make it and drink it right then.
Yeah.
And it's just great. It has all the nutrients, electrolytes, everything.
That's actually what Dave Feldman, he told us that that's what he does. I think he said that he's never mixed one up and let it sit. He just gets too anxious and just drinks them right away.
Just drinks it and it's done.
Keep using it over and over again for like my dinner when I'm trying to keep it lighter. So if I have like a heavy lunch, and honestly, it's because I'm using it in the way that's almost never recommended, which is that I just mix it on the spot and then just drink it right then.
Now, as far as refrigeration goes, once keto chow is mixed up, because of the protein in here, you need to treat it just like you would milk.
Yeah, you can't leave it out forever.
No, and even if you mix it up with no fat, no heavy cream, once you add the water to the protein, there's a clock ticking. And that's why we usually recommend to stick it in the fridge or let it chill out. Or maybe even stick some ice cubes in there would also help out. But you couldn't mix it up and then forget about it on the counter overnight.
It's going to go bad.
Again, treat it like milk. If you would be okay leaving a thing of milk out on the counter and getting to it in like an hour or so, you're fine. But if you left it overnight, I'm sorry to say.
Throw that away.
Yeah, it's probably time to throw it away.
Yeah, and don't leave it in your car.
Now, as far as
That's
also
bad news.
mixing it up, can you just use a blender bottle? Yeah, that's actually how a lot of people do it.
Here is another question. Lori wants to know, is the nutritional information on the packet with or without the added liquid fat product as recommended in the directions?
Yes. Actually,
Too bad you threw that package away. You
I
should
know.
scrounge it off the floor and we could show everyone.
Well, we can do an overlay. So
Right here.
on the packets, we have the nutrition information for the powder itself.
Yeah.
And then we also, just as an example, will give the nutrition information for if you add some amount of fat. It's usually a half cup of heavy cream or a half a stick of butter or something like that, just as an example.
Yeah.
And if you don't know how much to use, you can use that amount and know that that's what you're getting. Yeah. And mainly what you're just adding is fat. Now with heavy cream, you are adding a fair number of carbs. It's around 4 grams of carbohydrates if you use 4 ounces.
Yeah.
And it's just because all heavy cream, despite what it may say on the package,
Zero.
they're able to round it down to 0 per tablespoon serving. It adds up over time. By over time, I mean when you use a
more
fair
than
amount
one.
of it.
So pro tip, anything that says 0, just imagine it says 0.5.
Yes, exactly.
And then you can just add it up in your mind. If you have 10 of these things, you're actually having 0.5 times. So you're having 5 of the things.
The packaging has both just the powder itself and the powder plus fat. So it gives you both of those. And if you're using a different fat than what we say on there, or you're using a different amount, the numbers will be different. But we do actually have the calculator on our website that can help you calculate that yourself. Now, if you scan Keto Chow into something like Chronometer, it should give you just the powder, and then you add the fat. So for instance, today I was having chocolate mint Keto Chow. I put that into Chronometer. I happened to have used a half stick of butter, so it all came through and everything was fine and it's tracking just like it should.
Eileen is asking, okay, new to Keto Chow, what is a scoop? What is a scoop considered? How many teaspoons/tablespoons is that?
The big bags of Keto Chow contain a scoop. It's kind of a best effort at a serving size. It's not exact, and depending on how you pack it
Or don't pack it.
it may be close or far away from the actual serving amount. In the nutrition panel, it's going to tell you how many grams. It'll be like 42.7 grams or something like that. The best thing to do would actually be to use that scoop that came in the package and then weigh how much powder you scooped out and see if it comes reasonably close.
To the serving size on the back of the package.
Yeah. And if you're like, oh, yeah, I nailed it. Hey, you're
Then
doing
you
great.
win.
You win.
Winner.
If you find that you're off by a considerable amount, you may want to try packing it more. And we've found that a lot of times when people use the individual packets and then get a big bag, and they're like, hey, this doesn't taste the
It's
same.
not this flavorful.
A lot of times it's because that packet was individually measured, but the scoop is dependent. It's variable on how you measure it.
Yeah.
So see how you measure it, see how it compares. Now the scoops also, they vary in size. Different flavors have a different scoop. Like chocolate peanut butter has actual peanut flour in it. It uses a bigger scoop. I think it's 105 cubic centimeters.
That's a boring word.
And I believe chocolate is 101. And I think most of the other flavors are 98 cubic centimeters.
But since everybody doesn't really measure in cubic centimeters,
Milliliters.
milliliters.
It doesn't translate easily to a
Tablespoon
fractional
or
cup.
teaspoons.
It's a weird size. It's like, I think it's right in between a third and a fourth of a cup or something like that. Great. We got to cover all the stuff about preparing Keto Chow and all of that. Thanks for everybody for joining us today. If you have other questions about preparing Keto Chow or any other questions about Keto Chow, let us know down in the comments. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
Wait, I have one more thing.
What?
Let me know. Oh, where's the camera? Let me know.
That's camera.
Let me know. Let me know. Let me know how you like to prepare Keto Chow.
Ooh, do
In
you
the
use
comments. Do you use butter? Have you used coconut oil?
Do you just do it in the shaker?
Avocado oil, maybe?
Do you do 18 meals at a time?
I want to know.
Okay.
Have a great day.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.